So the fast track to destroy pop culture is apparently upon us. And that sound you hear is in fact Goofy's laugh as he plows Minnie Mouse behind Mickey Mouse's back.
Oh my!
Similar to how tech billionaires are fucking all of us. And at the center of it, studios embracing the use of generative AI. But I'm going to focus on one studio in particular today, specifically one that has been responsible for some of the greatest art we've ever seen on the planet. That studio is Disney.
I'm Chapel Roan, and you're fucking Disney Channel.
Especially responsible for some of the greatest 2D animation films we've ever seen, of which only Studio Ghibli has been able to rival on a popular level. Unless, of course, we're talking about the food. Nobody makes food look better than Studio Ghibli. Though The Lion King did somehow make those slugs look pretty tasty when I was a kid. I didn't eat any slugs as a kid. I didn't do that. But before we stand The Lion King for all of its brilliance, I want to take it back to some of the older classics. Sure, they were flawed because it was a different time, and racist. Very racist. But the impact that a Fantasia, for instance, or Snow White, or Cinderella had on our world, I mean, these transcend entertainment. These have almost become pivotal moments in the fabric of humanity. These were serious artistic works for the time, but they hold up because of what they were about and because of the cinematic execution. These films I more so consider influential classics, but are still to me 10 out of 10 films just because of how influential they were. Fast forward closer to modern history and you have more indisputable classics like Aladdin or The Lion King, both of which were works of art that were monumental in my childhood. Aladdin taught a kid from a working class family about class dynamics and to wish for more for all people. My mom was a florist and a housekeeper. So as a kid, I aspired to one day get my family to better conditions. But as I became an adult and grew further into my 20s, I realized that capitalism is not the system to accomplish this, and in fact causes career choices with backbreaking labor and insufficient pay. And here I am at 33, and I'm still working poor. Paycheck to paycheck. Despite what some dumbasses online like to claim about me who don't know how to use Google. Ain't no sight of helping my aging parents financially. I barely can help myself due to how conditions in capitalism have deteriorated, unless my YouTube pops off, which you can help with. You can help with it today by smashing that like and smash that subscribe button. Help save my family from impending doom, which will also probably impact everybody because the system's going to collapse. So turns out I still relate to Aladdin. So that film aged quite well. A lot of people similarly say that I aged well. So, if you're watching and you ever said that to me, I like it, thank you. Now, as for The Lion King, that's less so about class dynamics and more so about life dynamics. Like the concept of we're all gonna die. I love The Lion King. It is easily one of my favorite films. It is literally in my Letterboxd 4 alongside Heat, Casablanca, and Do the Right Thing. I only wish it was a Letterboxd 6 so that I could include Love Jones and Alien. The voice acting in The Lion King is probably the best voice acting we've ever seen in cinema history. James Earl Jones to Mr. Bean to Whoopi and everyone in between. The only film that rivals it in voice acting is probably the brilliance of Robin Williams in Aladdin. The color and vibrance of these two films in particular is stunning. It's like a Salvador Dali painting as a film. And I think that way of thinking about film, that approach, is so rarely even attempted. Terrence Malick or a David Lynch are film directors that are known for that kind of hyper-visual approach. And here's Disney in the early 90s doing it in 2D. They basically said, we're going to put the most beautiful array of colors together with the most beautiful message, and guess what? It's going to be good. The Lion King is so good that if you were to ask me at any point of the day whether I'd like to watch it, I would say yes, I want to watch it. I do want to watch it right now, actually. Can we watch it? I kind of want to watch it. So the legacy of Aladdin and The Lion King is pretty much they're the best movies that Disney's made. And then Pixar came along, and suddenly the likes of Toy Story or Monsters, Inc. or Finding Nemo were also considered some of the greatest films ever made by Disney. I personally think Up, Inside Out, and Ratatouille are some of the greatest films ever made by Disney. And hot take, I kind of think they're better than Monsters, Inc. and Finding Nemo. Not just films that look good, once again, but stories. Stories that resonate. Like saying anyone can cook, because food is central to our existence. Or mere existence with Up. Or the mere acknowledgement that all of our emotions are crucial in each of our stories as human beings. All of that beautiful storytelling, just to shit all over it. To embrace generative AI, a dystopian and unnecessary innovation that happens to threaten all of the beautiful art that we have become accustomed to. Is this really surprising, though? In the last few years, after all, Disney has really had a knack for doing things that audiences don't really want, especially when it means there's more money to be made. The live-action remakes of the greatest films we've ever seen are a great example. Who has ever asked for a remake of timeless classic films? When was there ever a classic film that anyone ever in history asked to be remade? You're just trying to make more money, which is inevitably what a corporation will always seek to do. But you also went out of your way to make them bad. They look like shit. They feel like shit. And when it looks like a shit and talks like a shit, it's a duck. Or however that saying goes. And I know you're looking for an intellectual take here, but the live action remakes are piss and shit. And that's how bad they are. Is I don't have an intellectual take here. They're just piss, but they're also shit.
Oh my!
The writing isn't unique enough to make a remake in the first place. The acting is awkward. The animation sucks. And I mean, the shit is one thing, but ultimately, it just feels super forced. All of them. All of the live action remakes were incredibly, unbelievably, grossly forced. It's just a slap in the face, and you can't possibly replicate the beauty of Aladdin or The Lion King, and I don't know why you would want to, other than to, well, a cash grab situation, which is what they are. I mean, especially when some stories just simply display their beauty better in 2D animation. Some things shouldn't become live action. We don't have to make everything live action. And audiences never asked for everything to become live action. And in fact, I've never seen anyone even ask for any of these films to become live action once again. Just some studio exec at Disney, apparently, whom is probably a billionaire by now. There was never anything wrong with 2D animation. And in fact, it's a beautiful form of art. But for capitalism to keep up with this facade that it is advancing, it must enact useless innovation as a way of replacing things that were just fine. Live action remakes of animation, AI replacing labor, Apple iPhone updates, or app updates are of course very common these days and often leave most of the population thinking, WTF. And this is one of the worst parts about Disney embracing AI at the end of the day. You are robbing livelihoods from people. You are robbing them of a living wage, all for a facade of innovation, while embracing soulless, brain-dead, auto-computed slop. Another trend in Disney's downward spiral is its monopolistic efforts over the past 2 decades. ESPN, ABC, Hulu, Lucasfilms, Marvel. This isn't good. You buy up all of the competition, you consolidate power for a rich few, and then corporations like Disney only further entrench us in an oligarchy. Or corpocracy, or whatever term you'd like to use, we're being f***ed by corporations. And within that oligarchy of a few rich psychopaths, you not only consolidate power and wealth, but they also consolidate the narrative. things like the Jimmy Kimmel situation start to occur. You start to see the landscape of art shift, whether it's music, films, stand-up comedy. They make less X-Men 97s and Andors and make more AI and live-action remakes. My only wish is that someday we can nationalize Disney, because low-key, I would be a Disney adult if it were communist, you know? Or if it weren't for them being a corporation helping to destroy the world. As in Austin, I just can't get down with Dr. Evil Mother destroying the planet.
Yay, capitalism!
Not groovy. And it does not make me horny. It's fucking terrible. So my solution, per usual, like every video, is we gotta get capitalism up out of here. We could regulate AI out of entertainment if we get somebody like AOC in office, but I mean, we're just a dystopian nightmare at this point, so. And we gotta get capitalism up out of here. So Disney is just fulfilling its circle of life, I suppose. Its inevitable track towards late-stage capitalism, Mickey Mouse destruction of the culture it helped create, and the culture we loved. The culture we still love. Art about humanity. Therefore, must be made by humans. But it is inevitable, I suppose. As much as these pillars of entertainment taught us, they were always doomed to implode, hell-bent on greed and profit over culture.